Good afternoon from the sunny Gold Coast as usual. I just want to talk about my experience of finding contentment and happiness in my life. It, it's been a process, and happiness and contentment and at ease. It's an in and out thing of emotions and thoughts and different feelings at different times during the day, and different things comes to me in respect to things I want to do, and the pressures of daily life, and relationships, and thinking about who I am, and what I've done in my life. Um, there's a whole lot of stuff in there that relates to happiness and contentment for me. One thing that comes to mind is when I think about being pleased in my life. It was and always has been doing the things that I've wanted to do. It's always held me in good steadfast, like to just do what I want to do, and be that if I wanted to have a drink, I'd have a drink. If I wanted to take drugs, I'd take drugs. If I wanted to go to the beach, I'd go to the beach. If I wanted to hang out with friends, I hang out with friends. If I want to watch some television, I'll watch some television. If I want to go and sit somewhere and have a bite to eat, I'll do that. If I want to clean the house, I'll do that. Happiness is a choice. For me, it's been a choice, and all those years of living in a framework of blaming everybody for my horrible life and the struggle that I was in. I was choosing that also. But at that point in stage, I wasn't aware that I was choosing that. And I was content in that, I didn't like it, I hated it. But I thought that jail, being on drugs, I thought that was it. That was just going to be my life. I didn't imagine for one moment that I could come to a realisation that I came to, and which helped me get out of the holes I was living. But all the decisions prior to that, all the thieving, all the lying, all the dishonesty, all the manipulation, the deceit, doing things so I could get what I wanted all the time, not thinking of other people, acting, being sarcastic and being cynical, and I was a pessimist. I wasn't. I was an optimist as far as I backed myself to steal, to get heroin, and to live a lifestyle that I did enjoy living in back in the day. As far as having nice clothes, and staying in nice places, and having nice surroundings, and nice things, I enjoyed that. but that happiness that I had back there, that was garnished with with a lot of unpleasantries, and those unpleasantries I identified in rehab was was why I believe that my life was a disaster, irrespectively of I didn't know no better. Irrespectively, I thought that was my whack in life. I still hated myself, and yeah, I didn't like going to prison all the time, and I got sick of using drugs. But after rehab, I pretty much smoked pot straight after rehab, and I used to enjoy waking up in the morning, going to work, um, going to the gym, being accountable for my attitudes and my behaviours, and talking about my feelings, and being aware when I was when I was not so much criticising, but more so being aware when I was blaming other people's for my struggles, and taking stock of it. Because when I talk about that accountability, I just didn't wake up one day and I was fully accountable. I still had outbursts, and I still blamed, and it's probably now, like in my 50s, that I'm pretty much beyond it now. But yeah, like, yeah, I did it. I kept doing it. So, being accountable, and I'm moving away from happiness, but I just want to say, being accountable for your thoughts and behaviours and your actions, it doesn't mean that you're not going to blame people. Hopefully, all it means for me, and it worked for me, that I can come back from that pretty quick, and look at I participated in all those events. And somehow I participated in them. So yeah, but I was going to work and going to the gym and eating well and taking girls out and hanging out with mates, and at the end of and playing touch football. And at the end of the night, I used to enjoy having a smoke a pot, and and that continued on for a long time. I was functioning, but I still enjoyed that smoke a pot. But I didn't use that thing that I enjoyed as a crutch. I shouldn't say really a crutch. I didn't use it to say I had problems. I didn't take pot because I had problems. I don't get how you can escape yourself. I know people do it, and I've done it too in certain times, but only for small periods of time. I don't think you can sustain drug taking over a long period of time trying to suppress something. It has to come to the forefront, or you'll. I think you'd just kill yourself. You'd just be in a really hopeless position, and you wouldn't be seeking any support and help, or maybe that's the way you're meant to die, or that's your destiny. But the happiness that I found out here, it was through choice. And if, as I said, if that meant that I had to smoke a pot, well, so be it, that I had to smoke a pot. But that doesn't mean I was going to go around blaming everybody for everything that was happening in my life. That doesn't mean that I was lying to everybody. That didn't mean that I was stealing from people, and I was saying one thing and doing the other. Having a smoke a pot didn't mean that I wasn't a nice person, that I'd rather, love people and get close to them and share my emotions, and other than being distant. and not engaging. So the behaviours and attitudes that I developed, and I talk about them a lot, as far as looking at maybe possibly that, taking stock of oneself in their life through identifying that we do create our whole existence by our choices we make, and I think that's where your happiness lies. Well, it did for me, because when I realised that I could choose what I wanted in life, that gave me a lot of power, and it allowed me to create dreams and things that I imagined and things that I wanted, and with hard work, and with determination, like nothing came easy. But that was never a problem for me, putting in the hard yards. Like even when I was running around being a junkie, it took effort to get money every day to score. So I was aware that the motivation that I had in my past life, I could easily adapt that into this kind of world and use that to create and to attain and to go after the things that I wanted in my life. And like, winners are grinners. That's a fact. If you're winning, you're happy, and that doesn't mean you win because you're better than other people. That's just your own pleasure and what you want, and that made me happy, and that could be winning on all levels. That might be winning to be in love with a partner. That might be winning to have more friends in your life, to achieve your little goals. It could be doing a course, or it could be learning to ride a motorbike, or learning something new, and taking a different course of events. And when I took a different course of events in my life, I definitely become more happy, and life was a lot more exciting. And like talking about my feelings all the time, that made me happy too, because I learnt when I talked about my emotions, it felt good. It felt good talking about my feelings, and that kind of that freed me of my internal dialogue. So I think happiness for everybody, when you do talk, I think everybody becomes happy when they engage and talk about their feelings and thoughts and emotions and what's happening for them, and their struggles and their happiness and the things that they want to do and the things that excite people to do. Like change. If people want to identify with change, it's not about living a life where it's a miserable life. You gotta find what works for you. And if it is having a smoke a pot each night, or if it is having a drink in the afternoon, like, what is wrong with that? Even ex-addicts, like I've heard the cliche, like one's too many and 100's not enough. Well, why do you have to have 100? Everyone's different. I get that, and if you gotta stop, well stop. But I'm a big believer in in enjoying your life, and if you can control yourself, then you're entitled to enjoy your life. And if you can't control yourself, well, you don't do that. but you do things that it's going to make you happy, like and whatever works. So yeah, I think it's important not to feel guilty about what you want to do. Um, even if you like sex, like go and have sex. If that's what you want and if that makes you happy, you go for that too. Whatever floats your boat, whatever stimulates inside and makes you warm and fuzzy. Sorry about that. I've got planes here and I've got trucks going past. So um, yeah, it might be certain foods. You might like some chocolate, and if you want to go overboard, it's up to you to pull yourself up. And if you can't pull yourself up, well, you've got to learn, to live a life where you've got to be in resistance all the time. But my philosophy is if you keep doing the stuff that even you don't want to do, one day you'll probably get sick of it. One day you'll get sick of if you're struggling drinking, or if you're struggling taking drugs, or if you're struggling with pot, or if you're struggling with food, or any other thing that we struggle with. Or even if you don't struggle, if you just get sick of things, like if you do it enough without putting yourself in a vulnerable position for consequences, like breaking the law, or doing things that could lead you into worse places, well, I think it's okay to do it. I also come to a realisation that every action does have a reaction in some form, and I truly believe we create every reaction that we have in our lives. It's got nothing to do. Happiness has got nothing to do with other people. It's got for me it's got to do with I understand that what I do has a reaction, and whatever comes back to me, I've created that. I've created that by what I put out there. So what I put out there does come back. So if I'm putting bad stuff out there, if I'm mean, then mean stuff is going to come back. If I'm a sarcastic prick, then I'm going to have to cop sarcasm. You have to cop your whack. So I think it's really important, if you're seeking happiness, have a look what you're putting out there, because it'll definitely come back to you. Whatever you put out there is going to come back, and we reflect that. I believe that everything we perceive as whatever might be. This person's this, or this is this, or that person's this, or vindictiveness, or resentment, or bitterness, or vindictiveness. That's all within you. All that stuff is in you, and your experiences mirrors that in life, and that all comes back to you. You change that. You change that stuff, and that changes. What you put out there doesn't come back to you, and you don't see it. Well, that's what's happened to me. So, if you're not happy, have a look at what you're putting out there in your life, and have a good look at it. Like have a real serious look at yourself. I highly recommend that you are the number one to look at. Before anybody else in this life, look at yourself all the time. If you're not happy, if you're struggling, if things aren't going well, always look at yourself. And because I believe we hold the key to our own happiness by what we see within ourselves, and what we stand up to and change. And what we stand up to the plate and look at ourselves honestly and sincerely and say, you know, I'm done. I'm going to change this because I'm not happy with it. And when you can do that, when you can take that accountability and really have a good look at yourself if you're not happy in your life and if you're continuously not happy and you're unpleased, you will see things that you will need to change. And you can do it. There's nothing you can't do. And you're the only one that tells yourself you can't do it or gives it over to other people or circumstances, you know, like you do hold the ace for happiness. So, you know, make sure you're playing the game of poker today. You know, like, you know, turn up to the table. Get involved in the game. Get involved in this stuff. Take stock of this stuff. Play this. And you will start getting winning hands, I can assure you. You have a good day and take care. God bless.